Joining me for more on this, on Tunisia, is Michele Dunne. She's director of the Atlantic Council's Middle East Center. Michele, thank you very much for coming in. I mean, as Alan is saying there, we have one of the countries that's the most westernized, has been one of the most stable in the Middle East. Are you surprised to be seeing the scenes that we see today?
It is unfortunate. Assassination has not been a feature of the transitions in Tunisia or in Egypt. It has been in Libya, I must say, although we don't hear a lot about it in the news. But in Tunisia, there has been violence, not assassination, but other kinds of violence, increasingly by Salafi extremists. And there was a lot of tension between secular forces, including Mr. Belaid, the opposition party leader who was killed, and the main party in the coalition government, Ennahda, saying that the Ennahda, which is a moderate Islamist Muslim Brotherhood type of party, wasn't doing enough to stop the Salafists. And so now, of course, we don't know who carried out the assassination, but certainly suspicions are high that the Salafis were involved. So it's really unfortunate.
The opposition leader who was assassinated actually had a fairly small following, and yet we saw huge numbers of people turn out onto the streets, you know, risking the wrath of the police as we saw them in that report. Does it suggest to you that there is going to be a strong stand from the Tunisian population in favor of securing secular rights?
I think so. There are a significant number of secularists in Tunisia, and even within the government, 2 of the 3 parties in the Troika are secular parties, and we saw a number of other political parties that are part of the National Constitutional Assembly withdraw in protest from the assembly. So really what we're seeing is that the political process in Tunisia, the writing of a constitution and so forth, is not going to go forward now until this situation is addressed. And I think it puts a lot of pressure on Ennahda to figure out how they are going to stop violence by Salafis.
You mentioned there are other countries in the region. Is it too simplistic to say that what we're looking at after the Arab Spring is a battle for power between secularists and Islamists?
No, that is a feature of the transition in pretty much all the countries that have had revolutions.
We see it in Egypt with a cleric coming out and saying opposition leaders should be shot.
Very much so in Egypt. And actually, I would say these transitions are not going to work unless Islamists and secularists find a way to work together. It's really going to be essential because although there are many Islamists, there are also many secularists in these countries. They're not a tiny minority at all. So this is, you know, it's a major issue in the region. I think we also have to remember that all around the world, transitions from authoritarianism are really tough, and they take a long time.
Yeah, a lot longer than perhaps people here had expected. Michele Dunne, thank you very much for coming in.
Thanks for having me, Kathy.